So good morning, everybody on YouTube, our YouTube family. Right now, Sean and I, well, actually it's 7:34 in the morning. We are both headed into the office. We actually work in the same building, which is really nice. So majority of the time we're able to commute together. We drop off the kids together and we commute together, unless Sean or I have an early morning meeting or reasons why we have to stay late, then we'll adjust and drive separately. But one of the things that we do when we drive into work is we just have like random conversations about different topics. And sometimes it's something that we experienced, while talking with other people. Sometimes it's something that we heard on the news, or just something that we wanted to express to each other and get off our hearts. And for Sean and I's relationship, we try to talk to each other as much as possible. I mean, we're really very close, so there really aren't any like secrets. So we just, anything we think about, if it's worth sharing, worth having a conversation, then we'll have it with each other, just to bounce ideas off each other, or just see what the other person thinks, just to gain a different perspective. So one of the things that we've been talking about recently is the F word. And the F word sounds a little bad to some people for some reason, but I love the F word. And the F word, to me, for a lot of you out there, is feminism. What does it mean to you, to everybody out there, to be a feminist? And then why do you think that there's such a negative connotation around that word? So for me, feminism means that I believe that women and men should be afforded or have the same opportunities. There's no reason why a woman shouldn't be able to have the same type of job, make the same amount of income, anything as a man. She shouldn't be forced to stay at home. I just don't like when we have all these gender roles associated with what a man and a woman should do. And I'm 100% all for stay-at-home dads. I just think people should be and feel empowered to do what they feel led to do. So I want to know what you guys think about that. Because when I have this discussion here, it seems to be very unpopular.
With who?
I'm not gonna call people out.
No, I mean, like, what kind of people don't like the discussion?
Well, it's men and women sometimes. And I can't say, here in Huntsville, I think we have a very diverse group of people. Look at us. We've lived in different parts of the country, and we've come here, and now this is our forever home, and we've met plenty of people with the same story. So I can't say it's an Alabama thing or it's a Huntsville thing. I just think as a country, we have a lot of growing to do in many different areas. And one of the main areas that we have I'm expecting to see a lot of progression in the future is for people to start feeling empowered and empowering other women. And for women to feel empowered themselves too. So what do you think about that?
Well, first of all, you know how I feel about labels. So I think what happens is when people will say that they are feminists, they're putting themselves in a category to be targeted by virtue of a label. So it could be good for some people, and other people view it as a threat or something that's bad.
Right.
So by virtue of your definition of feminism, why isn't it just called women's empowerment or equal opportunity, or it's just rights, basic human rights for individuals regardless of your sex?
But I think women's empowerment coincides with feminism. It's still a label.
No, well, to me, women empowerment is an action.
Right.
Feminism is a noun, it's a label. So if you're saying you are a feminist, people can be like, for you or against you. If you say you empowered women, then I think people will their view would be different. It's the same thing, but just the
Right.
way of how it's worded.
Interesting.
And so, just like feminists, people automatically associate feminism with women, but a man can be feminist.
And
so,
that's-
like me, I'm
right.
I'm very pro women empowerment, empowering women to be the best that they can be with the talents and attributes that God has blessed them with to enhance society.
Right.
And that's not solely a man's responsibility, or only men can do that. You know, anybody can do it. So men, women, whomever,
Right.
as long as they have the capability to do it. So the more people that recognize the strong characteristics that individuals possess, the better we become collectively as a whole. And we can solve bigger and greater problems versus focusing on the confines or the boxes that people put themselves in by virtue of labels. That's all I'm saying. So am I a feminist? Yes. Would I say is people would do that in a negative way if I were to articulate it like that? Yes. So I would just do it differently.
I mean, I think that anytime you're doing anything that goes against the status quo, there's going to be resistance. And sometimes I think as people, not sometimes, but all the time, anytime we meet somebody that has a different viewpoint than ours, I think it would behoove us to, instead of judging people based upon what their initial response is or what they say, I think that we should sit down and have a conversation and have a better understanding on what has influenced this person to take a certain stance. Like, why do they feel that way? You know, what's happening in this world that's causing them to feel so passionate about this particular area? And sometimes and I think, and that comes with, you know, I'm not just saying leadership as in, you know, having being a position of authority, but being a leader in and of yourself, to care about other people that may have struggles that are different from you. No matter if it affects you firsthand or not. So, I mean, I think there's something wrong where if a woman is making 66 cents a dollar that a man would make. And I know that there are some men who are just as passionate about that as women are, because it's unfair and unequal treatment.
Right, that is wrong.
Right.
It's an obvious wrong.
Right.
There's no reason in the world why you got two individuals doing the same job, performing the same duties and responsibility, are making the same amount of money. That's wrong.
Right.
So there does need to be change as far as the income gap disparity, not only with male, female, but then you can get into other demographics as well. So it still applies. So it's just a matter of society changing their view on how women contribute to society and putting worth to their contribution that's equal to a man's worth, or not even a man's worth, equal to the worth of what your capabilities are, regardless of your sex.
Right.
Because I wouldn't even say it would be equal, because there's some women that are far better than what a man can do in whatever position. You know, pick one, XY position, and they should be compensated accordingly. So they should get way more than, let's say, somebody else that could be a male that's not performing as high.
Right. Right. Exactly. I agree with that 100%. So I know, as far as I go as a woman, I feel like I've received or been on the responsive side or defensive side a lot of times, because I feel like sometimes people want to put me in a box because I'm married, you have a child, you're expected to stay at home, or you're not expected to work as much because you have children to take care of. And I don't live my life based on other people's expectations, but I have noticed that as I have more children, I have received a lot of comments from people, just feeling a little negative about the fact that, I'm deciding to go back to work, or, my children are going to daycare, our children are going to daycare. But for us, it's both of our responsibility to take care of our children.
And that's their problem.
Right, 100%. I'm not saying that it's not my problem, it's their problem.
Right.
But I'm just saying, right, I know you don't. And that's why we're still together. But I just wish that sometimes people would stop placing so much pressure on other people's relationship, and stop trying to force other people to meet your expectation, because everyone is different. I want our children to feel empowered. I want Lauren to feel, as a young girl, to feel empowered. And I very much so feel like she does, because mommy and daddy are on the same accord, where we don't feel as if a woman should stay at home because she has children. Every decision that I make, as far as working, if I'm going to take an X amount of time on maternity leave, of course it's a discussion, because we have to manage our finances, and we're joint, we're one. But there's never been any pressure for my husband to stay at home and take care of our children, and, walk around barefoot and pregnant. And I know that may seem a little strong about that.
There's never been any pressure on me to stay at home and take care of the kids. And I get up and go to work.
I know that's right. Preach, baby. And it would not, and it's not something where I'm feeling like, it cannot be any other kind of way in my head. And I think that's what's so important.
Unless a couple agrees to that.
Unless a couple agrees to that. But I'm talking about for me in particular. I think that's what is so important about understanding yourself and the things that you want in life prior to getting married as a woman. Because if I did not have an understanding of how strongly I felt about women feeling empowered to make their own decisions, I could have possibly married somebody who was sexist, or had what I believe as a dated mentality, or in a mentality that did not work for me. And I could have married someone like that, and I could have felt oppressed and unhappy and sad. And 100%, I don't think neither one of us are saying that there's anything wrong with being a stay-at-home mom or dad. We completely support anyone's decisions that they decide to make. And if husband and wife agree that that's what's best for their relationship, then 100%, then, we fully support what anybody decides to do. This conversation is basically about what works for us in our beliefs. So I'm really interested in seeing what other people have to say. Excuse me. I'm just curious. Oh, and another thing. Oh, how do you feel about this too? So I work out as well. You do too. And we both go to the gym. So I had someone say to me the other day that my arms are getting toned. They get a little toned. So someone mentioned that that's not feminine.
Oh, I was wondering where you're going with this.
I mean, I'm excited that my arms are getting toned.
That's their problem.
I
That's
know.
their narrow perspective on how they perceive individuals.
Right, but
So
my
instead
point.
of focusing on other folks, they should focus on themselves.
Right, but my point is, in mentioning that, is the point of this video is for people to hopefully expand their way or their thought process to stop putting people in boxes. If a woman wants to become more muscular or more toned, and she wants to lift heavy stuff, or if she can lift more than a man her size, that doesn't mean that she's not a woman. Just she's a woman who lifts heavy stuff. I mean, what's wrong with that? I don't think anything's wrong with that at all.
As Forrest Gump would say, and Forrest Gump didn't say this, but as Forrest Gump would say, if he would say this, ignorant is what ignorant does. So what ignorant does is speaks ignorance. So some people are just ignorant.
Some people are.
That may not make sense, but whatever, it makes sense to me.
No, I understand it. It makes sense to me too. So, we are getting ready to walk into the office. I'd love to hear your thoughts about this video. And what do you think about feminism, women's empowerment? How do your husbands, your boyfriends, girlfriends feel about these topics? Is there anything that you want to add to the conversation? We'd love to hear. Please comment below. And also, don't forget to hit subscribe. We'd love to keep doing this with you all. I think it's fun and it's enjoyable. And we will talk to you later. Bye-bye.
Girls, we run this